Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back for something a little bit different tonight. We are going to be, well, there's we for one. There's we. I'm joined tonight by Chris from Under Level. How you doing, Chris?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for having me on this stream.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. If any of you have been paying attention, I've been for the last year or so kind of showing Chris here the ropes on DC deck building game as we work our way through all of the sets and having a great time doing it.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, really is
Especially
a
the
lot of fun.
crisis sets.
Yeah, every game is so much fun, and I always look forward to it each week. So I'm looking forward to our next one coming up soon. So tonight we're doing something different. We're not playing anything. We're just going to be talking about the 10th anniversary Kickstarter for the DC deck building game. So DC deck building game launched in 2012. I know I first heard about it because it was in the middle page of a comic book. I had bought. It was at that time in my life where I was going every Wednesday to get new issues, and I saw an ad for this game. And I didn't play a lot of card games, but what I liked about it from the start was that a lot of my friends played Magic, and I had no interest in buying random packs of random cards. And this was a self-contained set with a theme I loved. So I jumped right in, and I fell in love with it then, and I've followed it for 10 years now. Chris, how about you? What's the DC deck building game been like for you over the last 10 years? When did you get started?
So I'm still a little baby when it comes to the game. I didn't discover it until like the pandemic and everything started.
Yeah.
This is my way to deal with the lockdowns and everything. I discovered it actually. So I had originally discovered the legendary Marvel deck building game,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Oh man, it'd be really cool if like DC had something like this." So I looked it up on YouTube, and I actually found your channel, and I kind of picked up on the game and like the generalities of like the playing it from your channel, and I kind of went from there.
Hey, I do like to hear that. And I know you've told me that before, but it's still really cool to hear that. So yeah, we focus on crisis mode on there, but I mean, obviously, there's a lot more going on this 10-year anniversary than there is crisis mode. In fact, crisis mode isn't part of it at all, and we'll get to that later. My feelings on that later. But I will say up front, I wasn't expecting it to be part of it. It just would have been a lovely surprise. So yeah, let's talk about what is in this Kickstarter, because like I said, it is the 10-year anniversary, and to make that a special, Cryptozoic is making their yearly launches for this year kind of a big Kickstarter launch with like special promos and special edition boxes and all that sort of stuff that we're going to talk about as we go through it. So here it is. The Kickstarter page is here on your screen, and I've got a link below if you want to follow along or, jump right in. So DC Deck Building Game 10th anniversary. Now, first off, we're just going to go through everything that's in it. The very first new feature is something I know that we've talked about quite a bit before. People ask me about it all the time, and that is the Injustice set. What we know about Injustice is it's going to be another versus mode, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because we already have standard mode, which is competitive, and we've got confrontations mode, and now we've got this third unique competitive mode. What do you think about that, Chris?
I actually think it's pretty cool. I like how it's like confrontation seems like it's more of like a upscaled PvP mode of just your base game.
Yeah.
This it feels like you're fighting someone with like the health bar and how they have everything going on with that. Like it just I don't know. I don't want to say it feels more arcadey, because I know sometimes people mean that in a mean way, but it just seems a lot more fun. It's like you're beating up on your friends.
Yeah, I really like the health bar aspect, because like in confrontations there are 3 levels to your hero, and we'll talk about that more when we get to the next one. But like the health meter is really cool because you can kind of chip away at your opponent as opposed to just outright beating them one step at a time. And you get bonuses from that. So what do I have in my notes here? So first of all, it's got an exclusive cover here in the Kickstarter. You can see it on screen, and that's pretty nice. If you're not sure about the Kickstarter, but you're sure about Injustice, I would honestly join the Kickstarter just for this cover, because that's pretty. That is pretty. It is another versus mode for 2 to 4 players, as we already discussed. And you can KO enemies, which is really cool because it still has the victory condition at the end of your game. So let me step back. In confrontations, which again we'll talk about more, you win if you defeat your opponent, right? All 3 levels of your opponent. In Injustice, you still play to the end of the game, and you gain victory points based on defeating your opponent, or lose victory points based on being defeated. So you can actually, like, it's kind of like a Quidditch type situation where you could go out and win, but you might still lose based on points. So you gain 2 victory points whenever you like knock an opponent out, but you lose 3 whenever you are knocked out. So it's kind of like a 5 victory point difference there every time something like that happens. Additionally, like Chris was talking, the arcade aspects, they borrowed things from the Injustice video game, and they have things like meter burn, where you can kind of charge up a meter that becomes an alternate currency that you can spend on like really expensive cards. Like you've got a superpower that goes, a super move that's attached to your character. Let's see if I have one on screen here. Let's see, did they show any? I know they did. Yeah, here's one. This Mallet Bomb, which is Harley Quinn's super move. So you can see kind of circled on the screen here. It costs 6 meter. Like you have to do a meter burn of 6 in order to use this card. But once you do, you get a much more powerful ability, which is really cool to just have like cards you have access to just by playing that character. I really like that aspect of Rebirth, and I think that's an interesting thing to bring in here. Chris, what do you know about the meter burn abilities?
Well, pretty much everything that that you just said. What I'm actually more curious about is, it's like at its core, it's just DC deck building game.
Right.
It has like some extra bells. It's like whenever Nintendo releases a new console, it's like it always has like a little gimmick behind it. I'm going to be very curious to see if they include rules on how to mash this with like confrontations or even like a crisis mode. Like I could see this easily being adapted for crisis mode, but it actually makes crisis mode the ultimate cooperative experience for this game actually competitive. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, one of my favorite ways to play Crisis is actually with the Rogues crossover set. It's where you play the Flash villains, because you're all kind of like on the same team but not at the same time. Same thing in Crisis 3 where you play as Suicide Squad, where you can have like secret roles and stuff. So having that is a really interesting way of playing a co-op game. It does show that there is a supervillain stack for this. So what's the one I'm thinking of? The confrontations mode doesn't have a supervillain stack. It's just your opponent. So you do have this like shared threat as well. It's not just each other, which is really cool.
Yeah, that Injustice Shazam. I mean, the artwork's just stellar on all of these cards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have anything else you want to cover on Injustice before we move on to our next release?
My last thing with Injustice is kind of the same feeling I have with Confrontation, in that I want to see what they do with like a crisis mode that's dedicated to this.
Yeah, okay.
Like I think that would be fast. I mean, you know me, I'm all about crisis mode.
Oh, I clearly am too, yeah.
I would love to see what they would do with Injustice, but I have a feeling that's going to be down the road, because I think next up is going to be probably like death metal or something.
Oh yeah, and we'll talk about that in my hopes and dreams section later on, trust me. Alright, so next up, the next big release in this Kickstarter is our third rival set, the Flash versus the Reverse Flash. Now, Rivals and Confrontations are hand in hand at the same mode. It started with Rivals 1, Batman versus Joker. Then they added in the Confrontation set, which added Superman and Lex Luthor, Wonder Woman and Circe, Zatanna, Felix Faust, Aquaman, and Ocean Master.
I believe?
Yep. And then there was a second rival set, which had Green Lantern and Sinestro. Now, the big main, what's the word I'm looking for? The Justice League character we're missing was obviously the Flash. They've been teasing this for like 3 years now, and it's finally here in front of us. We can see it. We know what's going on. And that is Rivals 3, the Flash versus Reverse Flash. And I'm really looking forward to this. I think the confrontation sets are really cool, because what makes them unique from the other DC deck building things, or makes them kind of more akin of a crossover pack, is that they're very focused. they have a
Mhm.
very tight theme and they have a very tight gameplay interactions. So it is confrontations mode, as I've kind of alluded to so far, where you get three levels of the same character, and your opponent does the same, and you defeat each level, making advancing your victory as you defeat your advancing towards victory as you defeat your opponent, but also giving them a stronger ability as they level up against you. So that is a lot of fun. I know we haven't done that yet in stream, Chris, but I'm really looking forward to trying that out with you.
I'm very excited to try that. I actually haven't played any like rivals or confrontation or anything like that, so I'm very excited to get into that.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. Like I said, there's no supervillain stack. It's just you and your opponent, and you just get stronger as you kind of take hits, which is a lot of fun. Now, the new keyword for this set makes a lot of sense. It's Speedster. What Speedster means is if you play a card with a Speedster effect, as long as you have drawn a card previous to this, you get to use that effect. The example they have here is Jesse Quick. So it has +2 power, but if you had already previously drawn a card, so like through another card's effect with your hero or whatever, you may also put up to 2 cards from your discard pile on top of your deck, which is obviously incredibly powerful. The Flash characters, all the Speedster characters are always based around massive amounts of card draw. I mean, you can see that in the base set. You can see that going through all the crises and other speedsters we've seen throughout the history of the game. So getting those effects and doing something special with it is going to be a lot of fun, I think. The
That's
other
awesome.
special... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I think it's awesome, and it's like they take special care into making sure that not only is it gonna be unique to the set,
Yeah.
but it seems like it'd be easy to drop into like any set you're playing with.
Yeah, I really like that too. The speedster effect I can see is a lot of fun. I mean, I know we're going to talk about crisis games a lot, but like we just recently played a crossover game with the Legion of Superheroes where we had time travel. Well, that following week I was playing time travel in a crisis game, and I had so much fun. And I can see the speedster ability being just as fun, just getting massive amounts of card draw and more powerful abilities for doing so. The other unique feature about this is something that they're starting to do more of, and that is weakness cards with an effect. So when you gain a weakness card, it goes in your deck like always, but it now has an ongoing ability. So when you play it, it stays in front of you, which is really cool. And what that ongoing ability does is reduce the cost of your character by 1. So let's say you're like a level 1 Flash, you're playing against Reverse Flash, you cost, I don't know, 8 or something like that. I believe that's 8. Looks like it starts at 9.
Mhm.
So you cost 9 for Reverse Flash to defeat you. But you have 3 weakness ongoing cards just sitting in front of you. Well, you now just cost 6, which is a much more reasonable target. So you can whittle your opponent down, not just by attacking them, but kind of getting weakness cards into their deck in order to make them a more approachable target. Do you have any I know you've played Dark Knight's Metal. Do you like the weakness cards with effects other than just taking up space in your deck?
I love it. I love it, especially after getting into games like Arkham Horror, the card game, like anything that
Yeah.
makes a game more punishing.
That's what you need?
I'm all for, and that's what I loved about Dark Knight's Metal is like their version of a kick had more functionality to it. Their
Yeah.
weakness had more of a purpose to it. Like add the complexity, but in a simplistic way. Like I like that's how they always do their things. They add little things to the DC deck building game that add depth, but it's very simple and easy for people to learn.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely like to see, like, this doesn't translate great to other game modes, but I'd love to see a unique weakness stack, a weakness ability that does translate to other game modes. Because you couldn't bring this into the base game and say, oh, my character costs 1 less. Well, your character has no cost, so that doesn't really matter at all. But something that, like, maybe it's an ongoing card and takes away 1 power unless you find a way to destroy it. That'd be something fun to look for in the future. All right. Any other Rivals 3 stuff you want to cover before we move on to the third and final new article? The new
I'm just
item,
excited
the
to
new
play
hotness.
it.
Okay. Yeah, me
Rivals
too.
is something I've been looking forward to, and now that I'm going to be getting this, I'm going to get all the other ones, and I just want to probably just mash them all together somehow. You know me, I like to mix and match stuff, so I'm just
That's
very excited for it.
I mean, we'll get to that when we play it, but the confrontations modes are very customizable. You just build a deck based on the heroes you're playing and some other cards you want to use. So, like, if you're playing Superman versus Lex Luthor, you just add the Superman and Lex Luthor cards, and then you're like, maybe we'll throw in some Zatanna, maybe we'll throw in some Ocean Master, and then you call it a day. So you really build the deck the way you want, which is really fun. And adding these other rival sets just adds more variables to that customization. All right. Next up is the Multiverse Boxes. Now, we've already got one of these, right? It's 3 rows. It holds, most things. If you've got a fully sleeved, you can fit everything in there pretty tightly, if not a little bit disorganized, I might add. And I know that my lid in particular is kind of crumbling from like picking it up and using. So new Multiverse Boxes are very much appreciated. There are 2 versions of the box, a hero version and a villain version. They are the exact same box. Inside is the exact same things. They're just different cover art. Now, the villain version is a Kickstarter exclusive, so you're only going to get that from the Kickstarter. The hero version will be available in retail sometime down the line, probably shortly after this Kickstarter gets fulfilled, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't played multiverse mode before, but this is the same thing. It comes with the exact same cards. It comes with your randomizer cards, it comes with the locations, it comes with the villain stack, and all of the event cards that you need to play multiverse mode. And we'll talk more about that, I think, when we get to my hopes and dreams, because I have some thoughts about that.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about this is it's 13 by 13. It does have 3 rows for cards. It does have a 4th row, though, that's extra wide in order to hold your character cards. Those, I know myself, I keep my heroes and villains in a separate box because they just didn't fit in the multiverse box. It's going to be nice to have it all in one place finally. Do you have do you have the current multiverse box? Were you waiting for this?
Actually, the funny thing is, up until I stumbled upon a Facebook comment saying from Cryptozoic saying that it was going to have all the same stuff as the regular multiverse box, it was in my Amazon.
Oh yeah,
cart. I was about to buy it, and I'm like, I'll just wait now.
yeah. You're not missing out on anything except like the pretty picture on the box. That's all you're missing out right now. If you don't buy the original.
Yeah, but that villain one, it looks awesome. I'm very much looking forward to having that on my shelf.
Me too. You can see this image here you can see that 4th row where you have room for all of your character cards, which is a huge plus for me. And plenty of room for all your other sets. Woohoo! There's all about multiverse mode. There's some fan first photos. It has some user photos. There's mine right there. I'm pretty proud of that. I really am.
Yeah. Number 1.
I made the list. Some reviews. Your pledge tiers. So, this is where people have to make choices, right? There's the Injustice for All at $70. You get Injustice. You get Rivals 3 Flash vs. Reverse Flash. So that's all the new stuff, including the Kickstarter exclusive cover. That's a pretty reasonable price, I'd say, for a new base set and a new Rivals set. What do you think, Chris?
I think I think it kind of matches up with what it'll probably sell for in the store.
Yeah. I don't think it has a massive discount. It may be like a few bucks, but I do think it's pretty reasonable price for the number of cards and stuff you're going to get out of it and what you can do with all of it with your other sets already.
Definitely not getting ripped off here.
No. Welcome to the multiverse. Same things as before, except you also get the multiverse box, the villains variant, of course, the one that's Kickstarter exclusive, and you get a super villains playmat with the same art as the multiverse box. Next up, same thing, except now we're adding also the hero box and an Injustice mat, which is exclusive to the Kickstarter. That's not going anywhere except for through Kickstarter. So that would be a unique item there. I think when you were talking earlier, you were interested in the Injustice mat. Was that it?
Yeah, I actually, I went with the Welcome to the Multiverse, but that Injustice mat, I mean, Superman looks awesome right there. So
Yeah, yeah.
I can do without the superhero version of the Multiverse Box. I can snag that on Amazon another time, but that Injustice mat is it's calling to me.
It is a nice image. And then we get to something a little bit different, and that's this Infinite. DC Deck Building Infinite at almost $350, $345. You're gonna get with this everything we've talked about so far, but also what's called multiverse editions of each of the existing base sets, including Confrontations, and then the 4 regular ones and Dark Knight's Metal. So original set, Heroes Unite, Forever Evil, Teen Titans, Dark Knight's Metal, and Confrontations. Now, there's a lot of questions people have about this, so I'll just give you what we know, and that is this is not anything super special if you already have this stuff. They're not like errated cards. I mean, there's probably something like that in there because I know they've errated Plastic Man at one point and released it with a Crisis set. So these ones will probably have that set as well since they did update in the last printing of Heroes Unite anyway. So anyway, this is just the cards. No box, no rule book. It's just the cards shrink wrapped and ready to go in your multiverse box as soon as you open them. What do you think about that setup, Chris?
I think that's wonderful. I mean, I was just talking to someone on Facebook earlier today, and they've been wanting to get into the game, but they were holding off for the Kickstarter. Like, I'm saving all my money. I haven't bought any sets yet. I just want to see what they have because maybe they'll have a bundle, and lo and behold. They had a bundle for the man, so now he's gonna be able to buy everything in a nice, neat little package.
Well, that's something we gotta be careful of because some people are thinking it's everything, and it's not really everything. It is all of the base sets, but there's no Crisis sets here, and there's no crossover packs. They did do a update today where they're saying that that's not going to be part of this campaign, simply because they're trying to support local game stores by releasing the Crisis collection and crossover collections over the next few months and years. So they're just trying to find a way to support both their retailers, but also get this stuff out to us as efficiently as possible. Because I know quite a few of those things have been hard to find. Crisis 3 has been the bane of many people's existence. You included, I believe.
Me included. That's right. The only one I need.
I've got one follower here. He's in the league, and I think he bid like $100 on Crisis 3 on eBay, and then he got outbid.
Oh.
So I think it's only like 70 cards at most. So you're talking some buku bucks for per card if you're bidding that much. It's a great game, don't get me wrong, but it will be back. I promise. It's not gone forever.
End of the year. This year is what they.
Yes, that's right.
Cryptozoic Facebook told me.
Now, any levels beyond this are retailer exclusive, but they'll get you some Kickstarter exclusives for you to sell in your store if that applies to you. Next up is stretch goals, and this is where, at least for people like me, and I think yourself as well, Chris, where things we were really looking forward to. This is the stuff that we're not going to be able to get our hands on afterwards, most likely, and it's going to just enhance our sets we have as well as the ones unlocked here. There's already been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, yeah, there's 5 unlocks already. Actually, that might be further. Let me double check that. What are we up to dollar-wise? We're up to we passed 200,000.
200,000.
Yeah. So all of these are unlocked, and that includes Injustice Sinestro, so that's a new playable character within Injustice. Central City PD, a new location for Rivals 3, Flash and Reverse Flash. Injustice Raven for Injustice. Injustice Catwoman for Injustice. Injustice Darkseid, which is a Nemesis. A Nemesis is a new thing. I don't know what that's going to be. Is that like a supervillain stack, you think? It seems like a supervillain card. I wonder what the reasoning is behind the new name for it. Well, I can't wait to learn more about that.
Yeah.
And then a few playable cards, including Injustice Huntress for the main deck of Injustice, and then a few villains and a new superpower for Rivals 3. So we've already unlocked all of those stretch goals with promise for more. I'm looking forward to see what else they released. I mean, I'll be honest, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for something that could be mixed into all sets, like playable characters that aren't locked into Injustice or Rivals or something like that. But I'm still very excited to see this stuff. I'm not gonna be disappointed by nice new shiny cards. Let's see. And then you get into add-ons and stuff, which is just kind of like an add-on version, a tacked on version of something you might have missed in whatever reward level you're at. Like if you got the multiverse mode, but you didn't get all the rule books because it's not included, you can actually buy those separately if you're like me and don't like PDFs. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I like a book in my hands.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that is everything that is new. That is what we have before us today as this 10th anniversary kicks off. So before we go too far, I actually want to talk a bit more about the stretch goals, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So, with what we've seen so far, it's not, at least for me personally, not lining up with what I expected within the stretch goals. What about you?
I mean, I love Sinestro just as much as the next person, but I'll be honest, I've been pretty disappointed with the stretch goals.
Yeah. What kind of stuff would you have liked to see or hoping that we see going forward? Because they are reaching out within the updates they've posted. They've already posted 2 since it launched this morning. And they're asking like, hey, what kind of stretch goals do you want to see? Because not only are they things that we can add to stretch goals now, but there are things we can work on to release over the next year.
Yeah, so stretch goals, I mean, 10th anniversary, I thought it would be more of like a, like, kind of encompass DC deck building game as a whole. So I was hoping for cards that we'd be able to use in like any set, maybe some like exclusive like crisis cards that we can add to the crisis sets. I thought that would be really cool. Like a custom scenario for not like a whole expansion for Rebirth, but maybe like just like a Kickstarter scenario that we can add to Rebirth, like just stuff like that. Like I was expecting stuff for Injustice and the Flash. Like I was expecting that, but I wasn't expecting like 100K stretch goal for a new character and his superpower card, and then 25K later. Like I wasn't I was expecting a bit more. Or I should say something more unique, because this just kind of feels like maybe they plucked out some cards from the set and they're making them into promos.
I mean, I get that, but we're looking at a pretty big roster already. I just scrolled up to check. Injustice comes with 9 characters in the box, so we've already tacked on 3 more. I mean, that's that's a 33% increase. It's 12 characters now, which is nice. I'm trying to think, I think a normal base set only has like 8 characters, so we are getting something special out of that. But I'm with you, where I think I mentioned already, where being locked into just Injustice or just Rivals and stuff like that isn't exactly what I was looking for. Real quick, we have a question in the chat. Steve Barnard asks, 2 versions of the Multiverse Box, any idea what the difference is? So there is no difference. Literally inside is the exact same cards. There's just different cover art on the box. So there's a hero version and a villain version. There are ways to get both. There are ways to get just a Kickstarter edition, and there are ways to get just the hero edition, or wait until it pops up in stores in the future. But the contents of each are the same. And not only are they the same, they are the same as they were in the original Multiverse Box. So if you already have that, if you're like me, and we'll talk more about this later, and you're getting 2 Multiverse Boxes, you're now going to have 3 copies of everything that came in the original Multiverse Box, and you're looking for things to do with it other than eBay, because there's going to be a lot on eBay, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what always happens to stuff like this, right? It's like, oh well, we're reprinting this, but I don't need a new copy. Mine's in nice condition. But yeah, that's the basic difference there. So let's see, other stretch goals I want to see. I mean, I just want to see promo cards. Like they're releasing the crossover pack and I'm sorry, the crossover collection and Crisis collection later this month, and they've got like
Mhm.
foil heroes and stuff like that. I would have loved to see like a full foil hero set of the original base game or something like that.
See, that's what I was hoping for too. And just go back to the comments real quick, Steve. They do have room in the multiverse box for the oversized cards.
Yes.
And what Scott was alluding to, I also saw the comment as well. Like they're alluding that they have like stretch goals for the multiverse box. So I'm very curious to see what that's gonna be like.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, like, maybe it's going to be, I don't know, like a storage box for tokens that kind of like slides in there, or maybe it's just new cards for multiverse mode. One of my wish list items, which we'll get to, is like an updated multiverse mode. That's what I wanted. I didn't want a new box. I mean, I wanted a new box. Don't get me wrong. That's exactly what I wanted. But what I really wanted, in addition, was an update to multiverse mode, because a lot happens in the DC multiverse since multiverse mode first came out back
Yep.
at the beginning of Rebirth. So something new would have been a lot of fun, especially since the convergence storyline it's based on is all but forgotten at this point. It's not a popular DC story. It was just like a tacked on story to move between New 52 and Rebirth, and it's not remembered super fondly. So to have this like unique game mode locked into that storyline is a little disappointing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh yeah. Where are we? And okay, so we've talked about a lot of what's in here. Let's see, any other what I've got a long list of things here that I wanted to see that I am not seeing. So I'm happy to go through it one at a time, but why don't you give me one? Give me one thing that you want to see that you're not seeing.
I've actually brought it up a little bit earlier, but I can touch on it a bit more.
Yeah.
I love Crisis Mode. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
you and I have talked like to no ends about Crisis Mode, and I think we have the most fun when we're playing that mode together.
Definitely.
I was really hoping for like they're kind of teasing like the crossover, like I would assume a crossover pack for like one of the big stretch goals. Honestly, I was really hoping like a new Crisis was gonna be a stretch goal, like maybe like the last stretch goal,
Right.
or at least some promo cards. Because I mean, you know, I love like the Crisis cards that we already have, but if they would have tossed us like 5 new ones, like that would have been awesome. Like we saw Red Lantern Spectre in action in our latest playthrough, like. And that's an awesome promo card. Imagine what a Crisis promo card would be like.
Yeah, I would love to see a Crisis promo card. That's not something they've done yet, or even they've alluded already. Like, we've talked about the stretch goals for the multiverse box. There could be new events in there, which are kind of like Crises, so that could be something new as well. Steve, you had another question. Any idea what happened to the Crisis crossover pack for Dark Knight's Metal? So the Crisis expansion is most likely going to be Crisis 5, right? And it's most likely going to follow in line with Dark Knight's Metal. That was way back when they started talking about Rivals 3, way back when they started talking about Injustice, way back when they started talking about Bombshells, which we'll get to soon. They said later on down the line is going to be Crisis 5, and there's a good chance it's going to be attached to Dark Knight's Metal. We're not going to see that this year. That's pretty much guaranteed. That's next year at the earliest. Even if they were to add that as a stretch goal, which I would love to see, I don't think they have time to make it and deliver this in a reasonable amount of time. Like right now, they're saying they're going to deliver this by the end of the year. I think if you tack on a Crisis 5 to it, you're either going to get a poor Crisis 5 or it's not going to happen. It's going to get delayed. Alternatively, they could already have a good amount of work on it done, right? It's something they've been talking about for 2 years now. Who knows how far they are? But it seems like a lot of their resources are going into getting Injustice ready. And that at least that's my personal guess from the outside looking in. Okay, so I'll start working on my list, my wish list here. My number one wish list, and I've talked about this quite a bit in the Discord today, on Board Game Geek, on the Kickstarter updates, and on comments here, and this, I really wanted a comprehensive rule book. There are a lot of rule books with they have a lot of overlap in them. Like there's not a lot of difference between the different crises. There's not a lot of difference between the different base sets, but
Mm-hmm.
there are minor things that change it, and it leads to having like 4 base set rule books, 4 crisis rule books, a bunch of cards for different crossover packs, all with unique rules, but also redundant information shared between them. One like spiral bound, easy to navigate rule book where you could flip through and find out, oh, the speedster keyword means this, and right below that, the time travel keyword means this. So that if you're mixing your sets up, you're not jumping through a bunch of different rule books to try and find out what everything means. That is something I've high in the sky wanted for a while, and I think this was a golden opportunity to introduce something like that. There have been a few comments by Cryptozoic saying that they've heard this and they're interested in doing it as well. Just kind of depends on interest. So if you are backing and you believe in me and you trust me, vote for comprehensive rulebook. Trust me, we will not regret it. Anything? What else you got, Chris? Anything else you want to see that you're not seeing?
Another thing that I wanted to see was I noticed on eBay a lot of people selling like promo cards for like $100. Like I would have really have liked like a stretch goal to be not them giving us all the promo cards that they printed, but that's a case where I actually would have been happy with them being like, all right, we're gonna introduce at a fair price,
right?
Like a DC deck building game promo pack 1.
That would be cool.
Like I thought that would be a really cool thing for them to do. But because I mean I want Martian Manhunter, but I mean there are people because I think they sell like Martian Manhunter, Joker, and Bane on their website for $19.99. But when they're sold out of that, like people just sell it for like ridiculous amounts on eBay. So I was hoping for a nice little promo pack. Maybe not something that they're gonna sell on their website, just to keep it special. But for the 10th anniversary, I thought it'd be a really cool little add-on.
Yeah, I mean, harkening on that 10th anniversary was really the way to go. They really should have looked back and said, what have we done over the last 10 years that we can enhance? And a lot of these stretch goals are enhancing, like, what have we done over the last 6 months that we can enhance? And that's kind of, and I don't want to speak down anything. This has been a lot more than 6 months work. It's just been 6 months teasing the Kickstarter, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So 6 months teasing the Kickstarter. Maybe focus on that 10-year anniversary more than what's just going on right now. Next up on my list is the updated multiverse mode that I've kind of harkened to already. I've kind of spoken about, so I'll just move on to the next one, which is Bombshell's crossover pack. This is something that's been teased for a while. At the same time they teased Rivals 3 and Injustice, they also teased the Bombshell's crossover pack. Chris, you actually pointed out to me that it looks like there's a crossover pack in the video at the top of the Kickstarter page. Yep. At the very end of it, you can see what looks like a crossover pack mentioned at the same time as they're talking about stretch goals. There it is right there. Boom. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that is definitely a crossover pack. There's no denying it. And I mean, if it's anything other than Bombshells, it doesn't make sense simply because they've talked about Bombshells so much now.
Yep. And they keep saying explosive.
Yeah, so right. Yeah, there's even a bomb. There's even a bomb explosion effect after it disappears off screen. So yeah, that seems like what it is. I don't know. Like we're at 200,000. We're already 4 times what they budgeted for. They were only shooting for 50,000. It passed that in 30 minutes. We're 4 times that now, coming up on 5 times as we approach 250 here. And I just want to know, where is that crossover pack going to be? And how is it going to work? Is it going to be added to reward levels? Is it going to be an add-on we have to purchase separately? Is it going to be Kickstarter exclusive? Is it going to be a crossover pack that you can't get after the Kickstarter is over? Where is this going to fall in that, that spectrum of possibilities?
Yep. That's what I want to know. I'm also very excited for this. Like my sister likes, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and all that
Hmm.
stuff, and I know she'll get a kick out of this, and come on, I want to mash it up with some Crisis, see how that works out. Just show us, tell us, tell us
Yeah.
how we're gonna get it.
Yeah, I really do like what makes Bombshells unique is it focuses on the female characters and it's got that really cool like World War II art style, and it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to integrating that into pretty much any set. That's what's great about crossover packs is their versatility and bringing something new to whatever you mix them with. So I had some ideas about promo cards. I want to see some new heroes. Now, there's obviously room for main deck cards, crossover cards like Gotham City Docs or Forager, stuff like that. I think the best promo cards though are playable characters. What about you, Chris?
Man, I was hoping for Captain Carrot, and just didn't happen, man. Just did not happen.
I'm almost certain that Captain Carrot is a hero card in multiverse mode. Like not a playable character, but a blue hero card in the multiverse deck. I think he is.
Yeah,
At the very least,
we people deserve to play as Captain Carrot.
Well, what I like about hero promo cards is they're really good to add to any set without, upsetting the balance, because sometimes you have a promo card like Forager, which is clearly locked into the New Gods crossover pack, right? I mean, it's a Jack Kirby character. It fits in with those. That's where it belongs, and you don't have a lot of use for it outside of that set. But something like a hero like Vixen or what was the other one? Static, I believe, or was it Black Lightning? It was Black Lightning. That's right. Those two characters alone, you can throw them into any base set and you're good to go. And I really think that for me is one of the best ways to do promo cards. Now that being said, with our recent experience in Crisis 2 with Heroes Unite, when we faced what was it? It was Crisis Red Lantern Spectre.
Oh,
that was
scary, man.
that was an awakening moment because there hasn't been a ton of promo villains. I think there was Felix Faust and now this. There hasn't been a lot of them, and I think that is a really cool solution that we need to see more of.
Yep.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as someone who prefers to play Crisis mode, seeing Crisis mode Red Spectre, seeing what they did with White Lantern Sinestro, like it really made me double down on the hopes that we would get like promo Crisis stuff, because I feel like a lot of people I won't say prefer playing Crisis mode, but I know everyone likes Crisis. I mean, I haven't at least met that many people that don't like Crisis mode. But it's like we've played it a lot, and it's been a while, I think, since we've gotten a new Crisis set. So it would have been really nice to get a lot of little bit of Crisis love, like so we can freshen up our games, because we kind of skate by easily this time with Red Spectre, but we both kind of agreed if we would have gotten him at a different time in that game, that might have caused us to lose.
Yeah, he had a pretty substantial attack. I think did he have a stack ongoing ability too? I don't remember. I feel like he did.
Oh.
Let's see if I can pull him up real quick. Where would I be able to find him?
Reverse Flash is another promo card coming out with, I think, the crossover pack bundle. So that'll be they're going to be the second and third promo villain cards, I believe.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. I think when we get to playing some confrontations, it's going to be really cool. Or actually, no, he'd be in the Rogues, wouldn't he? Yeah, he would.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll probably get to him pretty soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that now.
Yeah, because they're doing good with that. I mean, Felix Faust too. Like, his ability is nothing to like. When I saw him, I thought he was impossible mode when I first read his ability. Like, you were the one that had to tell me, like, no, he's just a regular supervillain. They don't mess around.
There is an impossible mode of him. I think it's with Crisis 3. So, I had a what I thought was a pretty cool promo idea, which I didn't don't think takes up a lot of unnecessary space, and I think it would be a cool reward for Kickstarter backers. And that is promo punches, vulnerabilities, kicks, and weaknesses. Every game
Yes.
uses these, and if you could have like a unique set that you got for the Kickstarter, it's not available any other way. I mean, that's just a really cool like badge of honor to have in your set. And I myself really like mixing those up, like having 7 different punch cards in my hand and 3 different vulnerability cards. So any more of those I get, I'm happy with. I know a lot of people complain because we've got what 4 base sets worth of punches as well as rebirth and confrontations and all this fun stuff. And yeah, we do. There's a lot. I've got a whole separate box I keep my extra punches in my closet. But I do have a pretty cool shuffled deck of punches and stuff that I do keep to deal out during any given game. And yeah, thank you for the compliment. I'm really proud of that idea. I do want to see that happen. I don't think it's a huge idea that would take a lot of work, right? I mean that the files exist, you have to pick your artwork and put a little never mind. Sorry, that's just my wife. Hi, honey. um, yeah, that you got me. She's in the other room. Anyway, the I already lost my spot.
It would be cool to have them foil too, like foil
Yeah.
punches and kicks and stuff. That would be
Yes.
awesome.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. All right, I still have a few more things that I want to cover on my wish list, things I wanted to see. Do you have anything else you want to cover before I get to them?
Kind of bouncing off your comprehensive rulebook. One playmat that you could use with confrontation, rebirth, crisis, just like a one-stop shop for a playmat. Like I believe your solo crisis league mat that you can find a link down below in the description to go and purchase yourself. I
Yeah.
believe that's like a big mat, right?
So yeah, I really enjoy making playmats myself, and so I just make enough that if other people are interested, hey, here you go. But yeah, I made that nice and large because I made it specifically for solo crisis games. The lineup is made so that it holds all your crisis cards and any kind of like overrun on your lineup. It also has a play space for yourself because a lot of playmats they cover the area where the main deck is and stuff, but it doesn't cover your play area. So what I like about why I made that was so that you have a play area as well as the game's kind of setup area.
Yeah, so like I think it would have been cool if they came out with a playmat where it just had the layout. Because I mean, obviously, you're not going to be distracted by the layout if you're playing, any given mode. But just having it has the spaces for rebirth and all that stuff, like just one mat, like exclusive for the 10-year anniversary, I thought would be cool. Like I like the mats that they have here, but it's just like your small standard mat, like just something bigger. I mean, crisis mode can get pretty crazy, and from what you've told me, the multiverse mode can get pretty cluttered too. So
it can get pretty hectic.
that'd
Yeah,
be cool. Yeah,
I mean, just start by doubling the lineups, and then if you add crisis mode to it, quadruple the lineups. It seems.
yeah.
So yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I will say that I personally just enjoy making my own playmats, so I'm okay if they don't add any more. 2 more playmats is enough for me. Oversized 2-player playmats. So yeah, that'd be cool, right? Kind of like that's what Steve Barnard is saying here. But we have the kind of lineup in the middle, maybe a room on each end, so you can kind of face each other and play it. That'd be a good setup. Something I'll keep in mind too for the future. So thanks for the idea. All right. Something else I thought would be cool, and they've kind of played with this in the past. I wish they kind of did something like that again. This would be an add-on. There's no way this works as just a throw it in for free item, a stretch goal. But something I thought would be a really cool addition would be sleeves. Now, there's a lot of cards in this game.
Okay.
Do not get me wrong. It's not cheap to expensive. It's not cheap to like get really strong, durable sleeves on every single one of these cards. So I don't think that happens any other way but as an add-on. But there are certain things you could do, like Crisis sleeves, something that has like Crisis mode on the back and just goes on Crisis cards. Or supervillain sleeves. I guess you couldn't really do supervillain sleeves because it does go into your main deck in certain modes. But I guess what I'm getting at is they've done Cryptozoic official like DC sleeves in the past. Just some updated new versions, or bring back the old ones available because they've been out of print for quite a while.
I like that idea. That's a really good idea.
It's a popular thing on Kickstarters lately to have like unique sleeves, right? I've seen that in quite a few recently. Now there are two things in particular here I have got at the end of my list here that I think that this was a good opportunity to fix an issue. Confrontation sleeves, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, or even, you know what? Character card sleeves, because they are an odd size. I know you can buy sleeves and like cut them down to the right size, but character card sleeves would have been appreciated, I think. But yeah, confrontation sleeves, good to go there.
Sleeve Kings. They have perfect size sleeves for oversized character cards. If anyone is still looking for those.
Okay, I'll have to check those out. I tried some from Mayfair Games. I didn't like it. They were just like a little too big on the sides, a little too tall on the top, and you could like cut it down to be the right size. But I was like uncomfortable doing that, so
yeah,
I did not do that. So the two things that I thought would be a good time to actually fix a problem, and this would be a good opportunity to do it, and that would be the Dark Knight's Metal Divider. I know I kind of talked to you a bit about this earlier, Chris, but when Dark Knight's Metal came out, it came with a divider to go in the Multiverse Box, like all sets do now. But they put the name at the bottom, which doesn't work when the divider stands taller than the cards, and you're just supposed to see the name at the top.
Yeah.
It's just a black square now at the top, and like, that's Dark Knight's Metal right there. Like, everything the light touches is yours, except that's Dark Knight's Metal.
Yeah, the Dark Multiverse, they're going for a thematic approach on that one.
Yeah. And they have updated it, and they're including it in new printings of Dark Knight's Metal. But, this was a good opportunity to just print one and throw it in the Multiverse Box and fix the problem. And it seems they've directly addressed that they are not doing that. I thought that'd be like a really, really easy thing to do. Yeah, it bugs me so much too, Steve, and I think this was like a golden opportunity to fix it, and they just didn't. They just didn't. All right, and the last thing here is, I don't want to get like too preachy, but there's an awkward thing that we don't talk about too much. I don't talk about it too much, and it actually makes for some weird moments in my streams where I'm trying to fix it on camera. And that is that a lot of the base set and a lot of the other sets, they use exclusively he language. It refers to all players as guys, no matter who you are. And it makes for some weird moments. I'm like playing a game with my wife, and I'm like, when a player is attacked, he, and I'm like, I'll just change this to they real quick. This was a chance to kind of update that strictly gendered language and make it more approachable, because it's 2022, not 2012, and there are people of all different shapes and sizes. And he is a very, very exclusive name, even back 10 years ago. So it would have been a good time to like update cards that say that and kind of like throw that in, even as an add-on, but preferably as part of like multiverse mode or something like that.
Yeah, have they done that in the later sets?
I'd have to double check. I think they toned that down later on, but definitely in the first, at least especially in the base set, and I think a little bit in Heroes Unite, they lean pretty heavily on he. Like, even the rule book, it says he on like every other sentence, it seems.
Okay.
Just a weird thing that bugs me that I like when I'm reading a card on screen, I try to like fix it for them. That's my list. Those are things I wanted to see. Any other dreams you had that you're missing out on before we move on?
What I've deemed my impossible mode dream, which I know is an impossibility. I know it would never happen, but I thought it would just been insane. I know we enjoy playing the game on Tabletop Simulator, since we own everything. Don't worry, Cryptozoic. Like, we own everything. It's just, I can't fly to where Mr. Bear is to go play with him. So we play on Tabletop Simulator. I thought it would have been really cool if we reached like a certain goal that maybe it would have been like, okay, this is gonna fund the beginning development of like a digital version of the game, be it like mobile or like on the or whatever. Like, I thought that would be really cool. Not like, hey, fund the game like in this, but I thought it'd be really cool, like a nice little teaser. It's like, oh, we made this much money, and this is gonna start the production of us seeking out to do this. I know it was like never gonna happen, but I thought that'd be really cool. Big 10th anniversary thing where it's like, bam, the game's gonna go digital as well. I thought that'd be really cool. I think the game would be serviceable on a digital platform, but
Yeah.
Again, for me, it was mostly just like crisis support was what I was hoping for. Like, that was like my big thing.
Yeah, I know. I know. For like the last 2 years, I've been saying next year in Crisis 5, it's coming. But it took a long time for us to get here, so it's gonna take a little bit longer for us to get the Crisis 5. It seems. Yeah, someday. I mean, anyone watching, that's what I do. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Online multiplayer cross-platform, indeed.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we use Tabletop Simulator to good effect. It always feels almost a bit dirty. Like, I own these cards and I can play this game, but like, I know I'm kind of playing this like bootleg version online, and I don't want to, but it's just the only way that you and I can play, right, Chris?
That is indeed the only way that we can play, and I mean, that's why there's a good amount of people, like, it's like that, like thing on Tabletop Simulator. It's updated frequently. Like, there's a lot of people that comment on it. I think there's a good opportunity there if they went like a digital route with the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I know they've alluded to in the past that they don't have the rights to do that, but they are making this DC Dual Force game, so I don't know where the digital rights are in comparison to between those two things. Yeah, I'm with you, Steve, on that physics of Tabletop Simulator. It's one of the more frustrating things for me sometimes. I do wish it was more point and click at times, because sometimes I'm playing with the controls. I know recently, Chris, you and I played a game, and like 30 seconds into the stream, I somehow adjusted my camera into a way that altered all of the controls, and I never got them back. And I was just fumbling through the whole game, just trying to see what I was doing, and just trying not to let anyone know. But yeah. After restarting it went back to normal settings, but I never figured out how to fix that. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that particular issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I was saying, I don't know where the rights lie on that. I know that they're making this DC Dual Force game. I don't know if there's any overlap there, if it's something they're also working on, if it's something they even can work on. But yeah, I'm with you. That'd be nice. Like, if I could just play DC Deck Building game on my phone at lunch. Yeah, I'm good with that.
That'd be awesome.
Even if we could play like a kind of a what's the word I'm looking for, a asynchronous multiplayer game where like I take a turn and then you get a notification that it's your turn, and just kind of like go back and forth throughout the day. That sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, like Words with what was that game? Words with Friends or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you'd make your move and then it would notify the people you were playing with. Like, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a developer. I'm not a copyright expert. I don't know how these things work, but a man can dream, right? A man can dream.
Yeah, it's a big dream, but we can indeed dream.
Yeah, it definitely is. So I think that covers basically everything. The last thing I want to talk about is the levels. I know we talked about everything. We've shared a lot of our thoughts on it. I guess, you know what, before we get into that, let's give some final thoughts. I guess for me, I mean, the word disappointment comes up pretty easily because I had some really big dreams about what I wanted this to be. Yeah, I've heard Ascension's really good, and Shards of Infinity as well. I'll have to look into those at some point. But yeah, so I had some really big dreams of what this was going to be. Like I thought it was going to be a culmination event, 10 years, upgrade your sets. Oh, something that I haven't even mentioned yet, but like maybe like upgraded tokens, like victory point tokens and stuff instead of the little cardboard ones we have now. There's all sorts of things they could have done that kind of seem to have gone by the wayside. And it really is focused on the new instead of what the classic stuff. Like it's getting some of the classic stuff into people's hands, but it's not enhancing that too much, which is really what I wanted to see more. If since it is just new items, there's not a lot I see here that couldn't have just been a regular release. Now maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe we'll see some really cool stretch goals unlock. But right now they're not showing stretch goals until they're basically already unlocked. So we don't know what we're looking at in the future other than the possible crossover pack and not knowing if it's added on or an add-on. So we are in the dark on that. So I guess that's my overall feeling. I don't want to say disappointed. I know I hyped myself up, and I know everyone asking me about it all the time hyped me up as well. There were definitely things I wanted to see that I didn't see, but I still am looking forward to what we are getting. And I think that's something I want to think about more. Is I still really want to play Injustice. I really want a new rival set. I've wanted a new Multiverse Box for a while, and I'm getting those things by the end of the year, assuming everything goes according to plan.
Indeed. My takeaway. Should I go?
Yeah, please go right ahead.
So I'm trying to be as polite as I can because I am on the Bear Over Innsmouth channel. I will say that I was disappointed in the stretch goals. Like it's like a mix. It's like I was happy with the tiers because my worry was that they were gonna like stuff the tiers with so much like unnecessary stuff just to like spike up the prices. Like not saying Cryptozoic would do that, but just like it's what a lot of other Kickstarters have done. But I thought everything was very fairly priced. The tiers were nice, clean, to the point. Bam, welcome to the multiverse, Injustice, Rivals, Multiverse Box. You get all the new stuff and a nice little playmat to go along with it. I thought that was really cool. How they did that. The stretch goals though, I mean at 100k, I like what makes sense to me would be having Sinestro, Raven, Catwoman, and Darkseid all in one. And then like I feel like they should have bundled them together because it feels kind of weird that they wanted 50k and then at 100k you get one card.
Like, yeah, you're right. Like they doubled their goal, and then they're like, "Yeah, here's a bonus card for all your commitment."
Exactly. Like that's why when they said a ton of things like in their stretch goal when they before they started adding the pictures, it said a ton of things. Right. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get like maybe like little packs of things, like a player, like a oversized pack, like some. Like like you said, like weakness and kick packs. Like I was expecting like things, but instead it's like, oh hey, thanks for giving us 150k. Here's like one card that you can play with. Like granted, they're all cool stuff. Like Turtle,
yeah, they are.
Like Turtle's awesome. Like I feel like Turtle right now, but
I can see it. There's a strict resemblance there.
Exactly. Like I said, I was expecting like stuff like to dip into the last 10 years, like maybe some stuff that could be added to crossover packs, some crisis support, some rebirth support, confrontation support. Like I was expecting the stretch goals to be things to encompass 10 years of DC deck building game, and like it just makes the Kickstarter kind of feel like a glorified pre-order.
Yeah,
and I just don't think that's what they were going for. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we've talked quite a bit about this on camera and off, and yeah, I'm with you. I see it. I see all those points. I'm going to stay optimistic because I love this game. It's my favorite game, and I'm happy to have more of it finally because there's been a kind of a dry spell since Dark Knight's Metal released. But yeah, I wanted more. I did want more. Um,
Still cool stuff though, and as
yeah.
they did mention, more stretch goals are going to be released tomorrow. So this isn't it.
Hmm.
So we just gotta stay positive, and in the end, this is all still like awesome stuff. We're gonna get hours and hours of fun through all of this
Oh,
stuff. It's just,
absolutely.
we're kind of expecting something else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it may just be like, I think I know we've said this so many times now, but every moment of this kick since this Kickstarter's announcement has had the phrase 10th anniversary attached. And to me, 10th anniversary means a lot more than this is what we're releasing this year. Buy it in one bundle.
Yep.
And I think that sums it up pretty well. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for this bundle. It's stuff I would have bought anyway, so it's nice to get it all at once. It's nice for it to go to them and not get divided too much up with retailers, though I do want to support retailers, not so much Kickstarter. But here we are. It's happening. And finally, we talked about levels already. Chris, are you backing this right now? Are you waiting? If you're waiting, what are you waiting for? And I guess if you're waiting, or if you're backing now, where are you backing? And if you're waiting, what is it that's going to make you pull the trigger?
To be completely honest, I originally wasn't gonna back it. I was gonna
Uh-huh.
wait and
Yeah.
see what the stretch goals were gonna be. But three things tilted me over to finally make me back it at the Welcome to the Multiverse level.
All right, here I am
Um,
looking at it.
for one, my sister really likes this game as well, so I
Oh.
knew she and I would get the money's worth for Injustice and Rivals. Two, I know eventually you and I are going to be facing each other off in these games, so I need them so I can practice. And three, as much as negativity as I had towards the stretch goals, Sinestro over the years has become like one of my favorite villains.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
Batman's my favorite hero, and like his rogues gallery is my favorite. But after things like Sinestro War and Darkest Night and all that stuff, like, he's quickly become one of my favorites. So when he popped up as a stretch goal and I could play as him, like, I'll always take an opportunity to play as my boy Sinestro. So
And
I
you're
saw
getting
that
two
stuff and I'm like,
Sinestros.
yeah,
Yeah, you're getting two
yeah,
Sinestros this year.
yep. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and snag this.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. I did it. I pulled the trigger and I did go for the $200 level. The reason I did is because I really want both multiverse boxes. That's what I wanted. And I have a strategy here. And that is, I don't really need the playmats. Like I said, I make my own and I really enjoy that. So I'll either eBay those at the end or give them out as a gift or prizes for the league or something. And I'll have both my boxes. And if for some reason they add on something like bombshells, and it's not free, it's not included, it's something that you have to buy separately, but gets added to the campaign. If it doesn't get added to my level, I'll just drop down a level to the 135 one where you are, and just buy the box and uh, uh, what am I looking for? Bombshells separately included with it. So that's my strategy. Is stay here, and if I have to drop down, I'll at least have everything I want.
That's actually my like one last PS moment. I really hope they make the bombshells included.
I do too.
Uh,
That would be a real treat.
that would be a real treat, and in my eyes, that would like basically redeem the Kickstarter to me.
Hmm.
But if we get up to like 500k or something, it's like, yo, now you can drop like 20-25 bucks or whatever for a crossover. It's like, what?
I know. I'm with you. I mean, a crossover pack's usually like 15 to $20, but I'm with you. There's no reason we should have to pay extra for it. I mean, there's justifiable reasons within like supply chain issues and like the cost of production as well as the time that went into developing it, and I get that. It's just it feels like it feels like it needs that something special to make the rewards seem a little bit more worth it. And I think you're right. I think including that is the way to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound greedy or anything, but yeah, I am there with you. I appreciate.
We can be a little greedy.
We can. I guess you're right. Yeah, this is my demands. No, this is this is something that if I saw as an add-on, I would have a little grimace, like, oh, I guess I will, because I know I will. But it would be a real exciting day to get that email with the update saying, okay, we've unlocked this stretch goal and it's included in these levels and we haven't changed the price of these levels. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. All right, Chris, I think that is going to wrap it up unless you have anything else you want to say.
If anyone from Cryptozoic somehow watches this, just want you to know, even with the slightly negative comments, I think I can speak for myself and, all the people that I know that have watched me and Mr. Bear play. We love the studio. We love the game. All of you are hardworking people and we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is just some constructive criticism we're tossing your way, but I mean, you already got our money, so I mean, you won in the end. And Mr. Carrot, next time, man, Mr. Carrot, I want an oversized Mr. Carrot card, maybe with underleveled written vaguely in the bottom left corner, so people know that I'm the one that promoted Mr. Carrot, Captain Carrot, but just Captain Carrot, man, come on.
I have all the fan-made card things. I'll make you one and ship it to you someday.
I appreciate that.
So if Cryptozoic doesn't get it, I got your back.
There we go, man. There we go.
We'll just have to we'll have to come up with a good Captain Carrot ability, and we'll talk about that.
There we go. We'll have the guy on Discord put it in a tabletop simulator.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I'm not I'm disappointed in what I told myself I would see today, I guess. So maybe I built it up too much. Maybe other people built it up too much for me. But yeah, I wanted to see more. And I'm really excited to see what else comes to this. Like you said earlier, it said in the update, there's more stuff coming tomorrow, more stuff every day after that. I mean, there are 30 days in this Kickstarter, and we are less than 12 hours in. So I'm going to cool my jets. I'm not crazy. I just know people are going to be asking me about this for the next 30 days whenever I'm playing some unrelated thing. So yes, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what else they get added to it, because everything that gets added to it is good news as far as I'm concerned. They're not going to add anything that I'm like, oh, I didn't need that. I hope. Oh man, did I just jinx myself? We'll see. All right, I think that's going to be it. I'll be back next week. We're finishing up Season 11, Round 1 Solo Crisis League this week. Results will be going up on Sunday. The final day to submit results is Saturday. So get your games in now if you're into that sort of thing. If you're not sure what it is. It's a semi-competitive way of playing the DC deck building games Crisis Mode. Basically, you play it alone with the same setup as everyone else. You get to choose things like your hero, and then you get rated on things like the size of your main deck, the crisis cards you defeated, weaknesses in your deck, sorts of stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy running it. I enjoy playing in it. Check out the link below to learn more about it, because I think you'll like it too. Check out Chris's channel, Underleveled. What do you got going on in there, Chris? What are you doing lately?
Right now, I have other people who kind of share the channel with me, so they're doing a variety of things. Right now, I'm playing through Divinity Original Sin 2 for the first time, and I got my DC deck building goodness with Mr. Bear going on. I just posted up the Crisis 2 video the other day.
That was a fun game,
and it was. Crisis 2 is my favorite, and I'm gonna be doing some I might be doing some Arkham Horror, the card game stuff, because I'm getting like completely obsessed with that game. It's awesome, but yeah, I toned it down a little bit, but I'm gonna start ramping it up. I'm gonna do some Solista Crown of the Magister on Thursday, so we got some goodies coming your way.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to playing more DC deck building game with you too. It's great to actually play with someone else instead of talking to myself for 2 hours.
It's been
Uh,
awesome, and I'm looking forward to more.
yeah, me too, man. Me too. All right. Well, that's going to be all for us tonight. One more thing. Chris, if you're down for, I know we kind of briefly talked about this before, but I'm really interested in doing like a final hour video where like it's the last hour of the Kickstarter. You and I log on and we watch that countdown timer go on. We talk about everything that's been unlocked, what we're excited about. Is that something you're still interested in?
100%.
All right. Yeah. So look out for that in the future. You'll be hearing more as we get closer. Thanks for watching, everyone, and y'all have a good night.
Bye bye.